Start with the superficial back line, which runs from the toes, like the bottom of the foot, up the Achilles, through the hams, up to the back, and from the back goes up over the head and inserts. So the postural function of the superficial back line is to keep the body upright, and the movement function is to hyperextend and extension, which you could stretch this out by sitting down and then touching your toes with straight feet, such as you move over here, this, like that. And then we have the superficial front line, which starts at the toes, goes across the tarsals, up the shin, up the quads, through the hips, up the abdominals, up the chest, and inserts in the back of the ear. The superficial front line, the postural function is to balance the back. The movement function is dorsiflexion of the foot, flexion of the hip, and extension of the knee. And like a quick way to stretch it out would be going down to like the yoga position of being flat and going like this and looking up. The lateral line starts at the midpoint of the foot, up the leg, through the thigh, going up the trunk, making a cross shoelace weave corset up here, and inserts behind the ear. The postural function of the lateral line is to balance the front and the back, and the movement function is abduction of the hip, eversion of the foot, and lateral flexion of the trunk. And then a quick way to stretch all that would be to either put the one foot behind or in front and then reach over and stretch. Spiral line starts behind the neck, down the back, and then goes around the trunk, across, and then down past the thighs to the inside of the foot. And then the back part goes down across, comes outwards, and goes down the leg to the outside of the foot. Postural function of the spiral line is to rotate across all planes, and the movement function is to control rotation of the body and the legs, as well as to steady the trunk and keep them from the knees from folding in. So a quick way to stretch all these planes would be to take a step forward and then rotate in your transverse plane, just like so. So the functional lines, there's a front and a back. The front, or the back here, going across, comes across the back, down the back, out to the side of the knee. The front goes from here, across the trunk, down just to mid-thigh, and then the same across this way. Some unique things about the functional line is they provide counterbalance amongst physical activities where you're rotating. It helps you stabilize outside of the resting standing posture, and it's a strong stabilizer. And then a quick way to stretch these lines would be to like lay down and then cross over while keeping your torso straight.